Hi, I'm Lucy Ellis, Senior Editor at Scrip, and I'm here at BioEurope Spring in Amsterdam, and I'm joined by Mark Rowen, the Associate Director of Business Development for Genentech. We're going to have a quick chat about the tools and technologies he's interested in and partnering with the company. So thanks for joining me, Mark.
Hi Lucy, great to be here.
Can you tell me a bit more about your background and your role within the company?
Happy to. So my background is in chemistry, and after spending a number of years in the lab, I was really involved in the CMC side of things in terms of the development chain. And then in 2006, this company called Genentech approached me. At that time, they were #1 in the Forbes list, and I couldn't say no. I joined them and really was involved in setting up their contract manufacturing and supply chain activities. And from there, I transitioned into Genentech's partnering group. Initially in alliance management, where I had the opportunity to work with a number of our partners like Xenon. We had have a collaboration with them around NaV17 and other pain targets. And then more recently, I've transitioned into Genentech's business development group, where I now lead our drug discovery technology platform group.
And what types of tools and technologies are you really interested in, and why should companies be partnering with you?
So I'm very interested in novel drug discovery technology platforms. These could be, and it's a very vast space, mind you, but these could be simple things like libraries that involve small molecules, macrocycles, peptides, antibodies. It could be different drug modalities. For example, protein degradation. We did a deal not so long ago with a company called Arvinas in that space. And ever increasing, we're also heavily involved in different cell internalization technologies. These are technologies that could fundamentally change a lot of the ways we look at targeting different therapeutic modalities.
And you recently did another deal with DiCE Molecules. I wonder if you could explain a bit more about how that partnership's working.
Yes, very excited about that deal, Lucy. This was a company that I think from day one there was a nice overlap in terms of the culture, and that's so key, I think, to setting up a successful partnership. But basically, DiCE has a technology platform for generating libraries of small molecules that are of significant magnitude higher than our current internal capabilities. So it's a very nice complement and expansion. We're talking about hundreds of millions or billions of molecules that we can now use to explore and interrogate different therapeutic targets. So very exciting space to be in.
And we were talking earlier a bit more about genomics and the importance within drug discovery and your deal with FinnGen. So yes. What's the story there?
Yeah, so genomics, we look at its applications in two different ways. First off, for novel target discovery, and secondly for biomarkers. And so speaking specifically about FinnGen, this is an interesting consortium actually, where we are involved with a number of other pharma partners. And what it really looks at is about 10% of Finland's population. We're combining both the genotypic and phenotypic data from that population, basically to try to understand and identify novel therapeutic targets and potentially novel biomarkers that will help us identify maybe responders or non-responders for future medicines.
And what other trends then have you noticed within this space that have really caught your attention or that you're interested in finding partners around?
Yeah, so I think more and more you're seeing a lot of activity, particularly in the technology space. I think the industry as a whole is recognizing that we face a number of challenges in discovering new medicines, and technology, I think, is one of the ways. It's going to be the key to unlocking and solving a lot of these challenges. Now, technology is not new for Genentech. We were founded on that since our very beginning. I would say led the way in terms of manufacturing our first ever antibody for oncology, being Rituxan. Yeah. So we've always been deeply seated in that space. I see ever increasing activity in the technology space as we're trying to really solve some of these difficult challenges.
And what are the barriers or challenges of introducing new technologies into the company?
Yeah, so I see some of the challenges have to do with the different lenses by which we view applications of technology and the way sometimes our partners view these technologies. So We obviously have our own internal focus on what we're trying to do with the technologies, and our partners sometimes have that and sometimes are thinking much more broadly. And where I think the real sweet spot is when there is this overlap of technologies, and sometimes it takes a bit of dialogue and discussion amongst scientists to actually find that sweet spot, but we've identified a number of opportunities where we're actually collaborating in that area where we know there's kind of mutual interest in moving things forward.
And you can do so much at the start looking for those with the same view or culture, but how do you manage it once you're working in a partnership?
Yeah, so it's a very critical piece, I think, of the whole partnering cycle, and I would argue it's one of the things that Genentech as a partner is highly focused first and foremost on science. It's what we were founded on. And so I mentioned earlier about this cultural aspect, a fit with a partner, and so we start by leading with that science. I think any type of partnership that is foundational on scientific rigor is really where you then see that continue to grow and benefit as the collaboration continues. And a great example of that is a deal we did recently with a European biotech, BioNTech, based in Mainz, Germany.
Yeah.
Again, a great kind of cultural overlap between those companies.
And looking ahead then, we're in 2018, what are your goals for the rest of this year, but also in a few years' time? Where would you like to see?
Well, it's a very active environment right now, both in terms of funding, but also in terms of just the cool and exciting science that's out there. I mean, Genentech Business Development is combing the globe for different opportunities. There's definitely no shortage of scientific opportunities here. So I'd like to actually see some deals, and I'm confident that there'll be more deals coming this year and in the years to come. I think looking out 2-3 years, what I'd like to see is where are these technologies and these molecules that we could be accessing where we could be transforming the industry yet again, like Genentech has done previously.
Great. Well, it's been lovely to speak to you, Mark, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your conference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To be here. Thanks, Lisa.